variant Delta is causing so much scary stories for us. Kaya kung sabi na 4 times more aggressive, more transmissibility is faster than the usual COVID-19, nakakatakot nga. So the best way really is to double the time in the inoculation of people. Yan lang talaga ang paraan natin na and we just hope that what we expected to be coming our way in the coming few days, ang mga bakuna na dadating sana. Huwag kayong malulong dyan sa idea na kung tapos na kayo, wala na tayong problema. Kayong nabakunahan na okay. Ang problema, marami pang hindi. Ngayon, itong ayaw magpabakuna, ibigay na lang kaagad doon sa SA3. Doon na sa public kung sinong gusto. Yung ayaw magpabakuna sa listahan, wala. Di ayaw nila, ibigay natin sa iba para makatulong. Ito ngayong ayaw magpabakuna, sinasabi ko sa inyo, huwag kayong lumabas ng bahay. Kasi pag lumabas kayo ng bahay, sabihin ko sa mga pulis, ibalik ka doon sa bahay mo, you'll be escorted back to your house because you are a walking spreader. Yung ayaw, wag na maghintayin. Let's give it to the people who want it. Those who do not want it, okay. For all I care, you can die anytime. Totoo lang.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. President Rodrigo Duterte emphasized that the best way to deal with the Delta variant is to hasten the inoculation of the people. To discuss this and other issues raised during last night's Talk to the People address, Marcial joins us live from Mandaluyong City. Hi, Mase. What are the President's proposals in order to, quote, double time the inoculations in the country, given that supply is our main problem?
Hi, Sean. President Duterte actually calls on the lawmakers to pass a law with regards to these people who are included in the priority list but refused to be vaccinated because President Duterte said it will be difficult for the government to impose a policy to force them to go back to their houses if there is no law. We can feel the frustration of President Duterte during his talk to the people last night, considering that there is a priority list to make sure that those who are included in the vulnerable sector will be the one who will be vaccinated first. But if they refuse to get the vaccines, considering the limited supply of these COVID vaccines, maybe like what we heard earlier, President Duterte said that it would be better if just leave those people who refuse to get vaccinated and give the available vaccines to those who are ready to get the jobs.
And definitely that is something people have raised before. But Mase, we're just wondering how many Filipinos exactly have been vaccinated so far? How many % of the population?
So far, based on the report of Vaccine Star Carlito Galvez last night, the government has already inoculated about 18.1 million Filipinos. More than 11 million of these got their first job, and the rest have already completed their doses.
All right, and like we said, Mase, vaccine scarcity is still a problem, not just here, but around the world. Having said that, when does the government expect our vaccine supply to keep up with demand?
Well, Sean, last night, Secretary Galvez admitted that up until now, it is very difficult to have sufficient supply of vaccines because of the global demand. So far, we're expecting a steady supply in the next few weeks, considering that a number or a huge bulk of the vaccines have already been delivered on the latter part of this month. But then Secretary Galvez said, considering the demands for vaccine, he's expecting that the supply will meet the demand come October of this year.
All right, still a couple of months more to go before we hit October. But just switching over to this topic for a bit, Maset, we have spokesman Harry Roque saying that people should actually avoid home quarantine. What was his rationale for saying that?
Well, this has been the policy of government ever since, Sean. Secretary Roque just reiterated that as much as possible, people who were positive of the virus must be inoculated or must be quarantined in a quarantine facility accredited by the government. The reason behind this is, number one, we are not sure if their houses have enough facilities to isolate them. Because the prior requirement of the government before allowing them to be isolated in their house is that, number one, they should have their own room with their own comfort room before allowing them to stay in their houses. But it'll be much better if they will be quarantined in the quarantine facility to make sure that there are medical practitioners who can closely monitor their situation. It doesn't matter whether they're asymptomatic or they're experiencing mild symptoms. And number two, it'll be much safer for their family if they're isolated in other facilities to make sure that their family members won't be exposed with the virus.
All right, on to another topic, Maset. We have the president also claiming that the Rome Statute, upon which the ICC was established, was never binding here in the Philippines. Did he give a reason behind this?
Sean, President Duterte reiterated last night that the Rome Statute was not published. And publishing a particular agreement is a requirement before it will be imposed or it will be acknowledged by the government. That's according to at least to the officials of Malacanang. Aside from that, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque reiterates that based on the ruling of the Supreme Court recently, there is no need for the concurrence of the Senate before we can withdraw on the Rome Statute. So the withdrawal of the government of the Rome Statute must be acknowledged according to Malacanang.
All right, lots of technicalities over there with that specific issue. Thank you so much for all those updates. Marcial Halili reporting to us live from Mandaluyong. And the health department says that rising COVID-19 cases in the country does not automatically equate to there being a surge. Speaking with the chiefs, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere explained that the actual term used is surge capacity. This is the relationship between the rise in cases and the ability of the healthcare system to manage patients. Vergere emphasized that the database decisions are necessary amid numerous calls for a circuit breaker lockdown.
We're at moderate risk in the National Capital Region, but we do not really want to be an alarmist and scare people and make people panic. Ang sa atin lang, binibigay natin ang datos, sinasabi natin kung ano ang dapat nilang gawin, pero hindi po tayo dapat nagdedeklara agad-agad ng ganyan without even vetting muna with other stakeholders concerned para po mas align po tayo.
And the health department also said that there is no data yet to support the efficacy of shortening intervals between two vaccine doses. DOH spokesperson Maria Rosario Vergere said that the current intervals are based on clinical trials, which registered the best efficacy rates against COVID-19 infection. Dr. Anna Ong Lim of the DOH Technical Working Group also told One News the chiefs that shortening vaccine intervals is not the way to increase the vaccination rate in the country.
Well, the data to shorten the intervals for Sinovac are not really good. That's why we're working with a 4-week interval. For Astra, well, there's no way. If we were to use that particular strategy as a response for the current situation, there's no way naman na makaka-complete ka ng 2 dose within a very short acceptable time frame. So talagang 1 dose lang ang ibibigay. So I don't see na as a response to this current problem, magkakaroon ng impact yung paiksiin mo yung 2 doses.
And back on vaccine supply issues, this week, the UK will begin donating millions of COVID-19 vaccines to other countries, including the Philippines, to help in the fight against COVID-19. The British Embassy in Manila announced that 9 million COVID-19 vaccines from the UK will be donated bilaterally and offered to the COVAX facility. The UK will be shipping supplies of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and the Philippines will be receiving 415,000 doses. The UK has pledged to donate 100 million vaccines overseas by June next year, 80 million of which will go to COVAX. And the country welcomes another 1.5 million more doses of the Sinovac vaccine this morning. To give us the details, we have JC Cosico reporting to us live from the NAIA Terminal 3. Hi, JC. Good morning. What do you have for us?
Sean, 1.5 million more Sinovac shots procured by the national government were arrived in the country today past 7 a.m. And now, this is the 5th shipment of the China-made jab for the month of July. Bulk of this shipment will be delivered to NCR Plus 8 areas in Cebu, among others. To date, the Philippines has received 18.5 million Sinovac shots. It has the lion's share of the country's vaccine stockpile, which is currently at 32.8 million doses. The government secured 26 million Sinovac shots this year. Officials say deliveries are in batches as they are just dependent on supplies from manufacturers. Meanwhile, DOH Undersecretary Maria Carolina Vidal-Tino says there's no assurance of delivery yet for the at least 4 million doses requested by NCR mayors. This as vaccines are being allocated to all regions, especially those with surge in cases. Sean, 1 million more Sinovac shots are expected to arrive in the country tomorrow, and also in August too, about over 400,000 doses of AstraZeneca shots from the UK government. And the Philippines is also expecting around 3 million Moderna shots and 1 million shots from Sinopharm. Back to you.
All right, a good augmentation for our vaccine supply. Thank you so much for those updates. JC Cosico reporting to us live from the NAIA Terminal 3. Here are other Olympic events of Team Philippines to watch out for later today. It's a big day for boxing as Marcial takes on Algeria's Younes Demouchi in the men's middleweight event, round of 16. That's later at 10:48 a.m. We'll also be seeing action later at 12:24 p.m. as Irish Magno competes against Thailand's Jutamas Jitpong in the women's flyweight match, round of 16. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon or 11 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.